So here we are about a week later, and we're going to unearth the catnip today and take a look at the dried pressed plant. And we're going to be putting this onto a piece of paper so that we can add it to an herbarium collection. And at the end of the clip, I'll show you my herbarium collection that I did as a student at Earthwalk Northwest. So let's see what we have in here. And there we go. There's our catnip. It's definitely all dried out. There. So that's going to be great. So the first thing that we'll put this aside, just right over here, and the first thing that we're going to want to do is get together our glue mixture. So to do this, you can just use Elmer's glue, is fine. It's what I've always used. And this is the first time I've ever used this. Let's see if it's... Alright, we're good to go. Okay, so you just want to put some glue on the paper. Feel free to be creative, make whatever kind of design you want. Let's do a little bit more here. And we're going to make a glue water mixture. And so to get the water, I just use a kind of a shallow cup. And you don't need a lot of water, but what I do is I just kind of take my hands in here and then kind of mix it in, or kind of splash it on. And I just have this on some parchment paper or wax paper. Looks great. Then you just want to mix them together until you get a nice kind of gluey paste here. We're going to need a little bit more glue. Oops. There we go. So we just want it to be a thick amount of glue so it'll stick to the plant. Just wipe my hands off here. So you want to have that prepped, and then the next thing you want is a piece of paper, and this is just a white piece of acid-free paper. Then we're going to take the catnip here, and we're just going to kind of lay it down. You just want to touch it down lightly so that you know that it's got some glue on there. Probably could have done with a little bit more glue on there. It's not a real precise thing, you just want to make sure that the glue gets on the back side there. Lift it up. It's got glue on the back. It's nice to make sure that you get it on the tips of the leaves and stuff too. Kind of helps. Then you can also be creative with how you kind of lay it on the sheet here, so you can, put it on diagonal, put it straight. So I just put it on there and press it down. Great. So then what I do, move this aside here, is I have a piece of paper that I fill out about the plant that I just pressed. So it's an herbarium collection information sheet, and I got this from Earthwalk Northwest when I was a student there. So it just has basic information like scientific name, common name, family name, where it grows, the different kinds of growth forms, the descriptions of the flower and leaf, and that sort of thing, and more about the calendar of when you would harvest it and when you want to harvest the root, all that kind of stuff. It's probably too small for to see. But basically, you just want a sheet of paper that has the basic information that you're trying to learn about this plant. Another place to get this great information is your Herb Mentor study guide that you can print out under the Herb Mentor study guide section on the left-hand column of the website. So, so you're going to fill out that with all this information. And then I'll show you how we put this together. So this is my herbarium collection, and I did this again while I was, I did a couple of apprenticeships and worked with Karen Sherwood at Earthwalk Northwest. And so this is my herbarium collection. And we'll show you how this gets put together. So what you do, so this is the one I wanted to show, is you take some of these plastic covers, and this is going to help protect your plants. And I just put them facing. So here's the elder, and then the other thing is I put this little thing in the corner, and I put basic information like scientific name, common name, family. I also put where I harvested it at, so I know where it was gotten and the date that I collected it as well. And then on the facing page I have all this information about elder, and so it just faces it, and so all the stuff that I've learned about elder. So this is the herbarium collection, and I have quite a few. I don't know how many plants I have in here, but definitely a lot of plants. And here you can see lots and lots of plants. Some I don't have. Well, this is an interesting one. I don't have a corresponding thing to this, but this is bitterroot, and its scientific name is Louisa rediviva. And Louisa is because it was supposedly discovered by Lewis from the Lewis and Clark expedition, so it got the name Lewis. And then rediviva means to come back to life. And so I'd put this in my plant press and pressed it down, and a year later I was thumbing through my plant press and it had started to bloom, even though it had been dried and pressed and put in my plant press. And that's actually how it got its name, is because the same thing had happened when they had pressed this on the Lewis and Clark expedition and they brought it back to be recorded. A year later it had bloomed, even though it was just on a piece of paper like this. So I got to experience that myself. It's pretty exciting. So here's another one just to show you another example. Here's St. John's wort. Again, the pressed flower, then this little thing in the corner saying where I harvested it at and when I harvested it. So it was in June of 2005. And then next to it I have the sheet corresponding with all sorts of information. So we can add the catnip to this simply by using one of these plastic sheets. And we just put it in. I think it's best probably to wait for it to dry, at least, just a day, and put it in the plastic sheet. And correspondingly, you can put the information about it. And I think that's all there is about herbariums. I hope you enjoy collecting plants and learning about them and being able to have your own beautiful collection of your herbarium plants.